G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm going to do another voiceover. Unfortunately, the sound recording didn't work on this video. But today I'm going to do what you guys, if you've been following my channel for a while now, what you guys know how much I love to air layer my Shimpaku junipers and create new trees with air layering. It's one of the best techniques to propagate Shimpaku that I've found. Last year I pretty much had a 100% success rate. I think I did 13 air layers and they all succeeded. The year before I think I did about 30, and I think I had about 28 or 29 survived. The one that didn't survive was because it wasn't healthy. It just wasn't, the branch I laid just wasn't healthy. So it's important to have healthy trees when you air layer. Healthy growth, strong growth, that's what you want to air layer. Now this tree has, you can see wire on it already. I'm going to use the lowest branch on this tree to create the future tree. But there's two branches here on this tree that I want to air layer off. Now there's this top branch that you'll have a look at soon, and a side branch. Now there's two, my intention is to air layer two branches off this tree. I'm going to give it a go. Always, rather than cutting it off and getting rid of it, I want to actually be able to save it, survive, create another tree out of it. And they're nice and healthy. You can see the healthy growth on the tree, nice full lush growth. That's important. If it's good to have long whips as well on the tree, that would be important. So I'm going to air layer that top half of that tree. And you'll see that it's quite a thick trunk that I'm going to actually air layer. It's quite decent size. So it needs a bit of work there, but I want to get through that. I have no issues. I've air laid thick ones like that before, so it's quite thick. You can see there I'm grabbing it. And I've already had wire on it from last year to give it some sort of movement rather than straight. And then the little one on the side, I'll air layer that off as well. So that's the plans today. I want to take you through a step-by-step process of me doing this. So just a couple of things. Just make sure you've got a nice sharp knife. Make sure you've got sphagnum moss. Now you can, it doesn't matter, but you can use rooting hormone, which I'll explain where you can put it and apply to it. Make sure you got plastic bags that I use. Plastic, doesn't matter what kind of plastic, any plastic really, just plastic bags. So you can see me holding up a knife, nice sharp knife that we cut around and ring bark, what's called ring bark the trunk. So you'll see that happen, and I'll take you through that process. Anyway, that's the main thing. Sphagnum moss, nice sharp, there's my plastic bags, nice sharp knife, and rooting hormone if you've got it, really. Something to tie the bag up. I usually use just 1mm wire, 1mm aluminium wire, just because it's easier to ply and twist and so on, but that's pretty easy too. So we'll go through the process of getting this done. It's very important to create, the ring bark that you create is actually at least the width of the ring bark that you create needs to be thicker than the trunk. So if your trunk size is, let's say, 2 centimeters, for example, you want to make sure your ring bark is 3 to 4 centimeters, if that makes sense. So that's what I try and do. Make sure it's much wider so it can't heal. So that top cut that we make is where you apply your rooting hormone if you got, and that top cut is where the roots will grow from. So now you'll see I'll go through the process of trying to start my cutting and ring bark it, and you'll see the process. Here I'm indicating how wide and thick I'm going to make it, but with a thicker trunk I really got to cut right down into the hardwood, and you'll see how the hardwood comes up and you can see it clearly. So let's get started, and I hope you guys take these steps and start to propagate Shimpaku junipers if you've got them. All right, so I've skipped forward a little bit just to show you that now I've started to cut away, peel away the bark. It was a bit harder to get through this because I think that just the trunk was a bit thicker than expected, and I didn't cut all the way through, but you can see me slowly pulling away the bark and clearing up the wood, the cambium layer, and you can see the hardwood underneath. So you can see pretty clearly now I'm just scraping away any white cambium, and you can just see the hardwood now. So that's really important. You would just want to see the hardwood. You don't want to have any cambium. You don't want to have that white, fluffy, fibrous kind of growth, which is the cambium layer. So now this will enable me to start to prepare the plastic bag, which I will anchor at the bottom of the cut, so where the bottom of the cut is. So no roots grow from the bottom, all the roots will grow from the top cut. So I just use wire to wire the plastic bag in. As I said, I just use 1mm aluminium, whatever you've got. You can use twine, whatever you want. Just make sure it's secure at the bottom, and just tie it in. So that's the first step there. I just usually leave a long whip of wire, just so that once I tie it to the bottom, I use that long whip just to tie the rest of the bag up, and you'll see how that comes about. So whilst I was doing this, I previously have prepared sphagnum moss and left them in a small bucket to just soak. Sphagnum moss you can get at most hardware stores or whatever, like Bunnings or garden centres. They've got it, so it shouldn't be a problem. So you can see me here twisting the wire up, securing the wire and the plastic. And now I'll go grab my sphagnum moss and I'll show you that. And there you go, there it is, been soaking for a while. It's nice and moist and damp. Now we just go and pile it into the little pouch that I've created and make sure it's nice and tight and tucked away in nice and safely. And we create almost like a ball. Now I have to use this technique of using plastic bags because my angles on my trees and trunks is all twisted up and all contorted, so it'd be impossible to use any other product to be able to do this. So plastic bag works the best. So there's my ball. Now I just use black plastic to cover the pouch. Now the reason I use black plastic is black absorbs this heat of the sun much better or much more than white or anything else. So just think about when you wear a black t-shirt out in the sun, how hot does it get compared to a white t-shirt? That's my reasoning. So the warmth warms up that ball, keeps it moist. Well, it should keep it moist and keeps it warm and should enable roots to grow much faster. So there's that one done. And I'll just tie it. I just usually tie it up and it's done. So there you go. Now I'll actually just do the next one, that little tree there, that little branch there, and we'll get stuck into that, and I'll just do an air layer of that. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. It's a much thinner branch, so it should be straightforward to do. I was going to do this. I think this has got 2 branches, and I'm going to do like a twin trunk on this one, so it looks better. Twin trunks coming out of the ground when it eventually comes up. And see, there you go, guys. So 2 LAs completed. You know, if you're prepared to do the work, it's easy. You know, you have your stuff ready and you just get it done. I've got a few more trees I want to do, and I'll take you through showing you those couple of trees as well. And you'll see the reasonings why I've chosen these trees to do it. But this tree now will recover, sit in the sun. Those will grow, hopefully cut off in December. So 3 months should be all ready to go. Now let's have a look at another tree. Now, you've probably seen this tree before. I've showcased it a couple of times. It's a very long, tall tree that I've gotten. Now, again, LAs I reckon take about 3 months in my conditions. I do them in September and they're ready in December. So this tree is pretty easy where I want to take the first air layer, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to put 1 air layer right there and look at the nice top that I'm going to have. So it's I'm pretty confident this will be very easy to take and grow. Be a nice little tree in the future. All right, everyone, it's pretty easy. You can see where I put the air layer. It's part of the tree. It'll be nice tree there. And it will create a nice little mini tree, you know, or I could grow it on to be more, give me a bigger tree and have more air layers off it, things like that. But that's that one there. So then I'll have this rest of the tree to play with and see what I do over the coming years. And also what I'm going to do with this part of the trunk, whether I bend it further and so on. But that's where the air layer is going to be. All right, now I'm going to have a look at one more tree, which I was planning to do some air layers on. So we'll have a look at that in a second. All right, so this tree here is a nice little Shimpaku juniper. Lots of foliage, lots of nice trunk. It's actually got a nice trunk line. It's got really good features on the tree. Probably what main issues with this is they've got a couple of branches down here that are really low. You can see that pretty clearly there. I could keep one and make a twin trunk. The other one doesn't need to be there. This one definitely doesn't need to be there. This one I could keep, make a twin trunk. However, I think this tree lends itself better to a nice upright tree than a twin trunk. So my plan is to airlay this guy off and this guy off here. Now this is a good example. I know Leah just recently worked with you on your little Shimpaku, and you had a low branch, and that's what I mean by low branches can be airlaid off. I'm going to give it a go. Usually they say the lower the branch, the lower branches a bit harder to airlay because I don't know what reason, but I remember I think it needs foliage below the air layers to be able to establish roots, but I'm going to give it a go. The tree's really strong and healthy up top, so why not try? So I'm going to put an air layer on this guy, air layer on this guy. I think this one I'm just going to put it on the straight trunk here, just having a straight tree. This one again has a double, has a twin, has a two branches that fork out. So I'm going to put it at the fork and create two trees there, or a twin trunk I should say. So I'm going to go away and do that, and I'll have it show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay everyone, so you can see the two bottom branches that have been air layered. One thing I forgot to mention is it's really important to only air layer healthy trees and healthy growth. So you can see these nice shoots here, nice healthy growth, nice healthy strong growth, nice healthy strong growth, shooting away. Very important. You got to have a healthy tree to air layer because that's what will make the roots grow from that cut site. Very important. So I couldn't stress that enough. But there you go guys. I've done 5 air layers on Shimpaku this year. I think that's all I've got this year, to be honest. I've got a few other trees that are growing on that I took heaps of air layers off the last few years, so they need to recover. So I'm going to let them recover. I think I've only got 5 to do this year, but I'm going to we'll see what they look like in December, in about 3 months' time. I'll have a quick look around, see if I have to do any more, but at the moment only 5 this year. Now, one thing I did want to show you also is the result of last year. If you've been following my channel, I did a red bark Japanese maple. I took some air layers off that. Now I had a hit and miss success rate with that, but I had 2 that have done really well, and I'll just show you how they look like now that it's coming into spring, and you'll see that they've come alive and they look quite nice. But I'll give you a quick snippet now of it, and hope to do some more this year, to take some more air layers of that tree this year after I've learned some lessons about how to air layer these Japanese maples. So I won't do that now. I mean, I'm not going to air layer the Japanese maple now, it's too early. So that's one lesson I learned. You've got to do it later in spring, and creating a much bigger sphagnum moss root ball, and keeping it a lot more moist. So there's a few little tricks here, but these Shimpaku, they're pretty much indestructible. I'm hoping there's nothing that should stop these 5 from all succeeding, but let's have a look at that in December. So I'll grab the Japanese maple trees now. Alright, so nothing spectacular, as I said, they're just nice little trees. I mean, these are all succeeded. You can see the nice, healthy new growth shooting along, shooting. Really good. This is the new growth that's coming up this spring, very early. I'm going to leave them totally alone this year. I'm not going to even touch them. I want them to recover. I want them to fill these pots with roots just totally full, and then look at working on them next year. They're just, as I said, nothing special, but it does show you that you can actually grow these guys. You can air layer these red bark Japanese maples. I think they're coral bark, I think, from memory, or Shimpaku. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but they're really looking nice. This one's probably even better. But in the future, nice natural style, couple of trees there. Yeah, so there you go. It did work, and just wanted to show you the proof of that. So there you go. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the air layering video and how to do it. Hope you guys get stuck into air layering. It's one of the best ways to create trees cheaply, pretty much for free, and work on good healthy trees to get air layers. Alright guys, see you next time, and thanks for watching. Bye.